So T.J. Brown and his brother were two coaches that were involved in the melee with Cam Newton, where like 7 people tried to run up on Cam, and Cam was dropping blows and slanging people. You know, he held his own for 7 people to be attacking him. But they've now revealed what actually happened to make them go on attack mode. Let's go to 105.3 and Yeahimstacie for the video.
What transpired? Like, what can make anyone, like so angry? Because I'm sitting here and I'm speaking to you guys, and there's so much that you guys are doing for the community, and you're pouring into these young men, and so it's just like, what can make something transpire like this?
First and foremost, like what I want to do, I want to apologize to everybody that was out there and to the parents of not just our team, but everybody that was affected by it. That should have never happened. Like, we should have been able to sit down and talk. Like, there's no reason we should be yelling at each other while a game going on. Like, ain't none of that necessary. So Cam has an organization. It's not just one team. He has an organization. So it's just been a lot of trash talk, you know, from, you know what I'm saying, hit more so his side. Just out of nowhere, just talking crazy to us for no reason. It's like, it's not nothing new. Like, I've been around bro for 5 years. So like, this typical Cam Newton behavior.
But Steph, you was right there.
Yeah, so they
you was listening to the whole thing, so you heard him and you walked up.
So Steph walk up there, and as I'm walking up with Steph, Cam is in Steph's face. I made y'all responsible for everything y'all do, whatever. Then he grabbed Steph. So me being my little brother, and I'm walking up a flight of steps, and I see a 6'6" guy grabbing my brother.
And that's the footage that everybody sees.
That's what everybody's seeing.
Okay,
like,
so that was the first altercation where everybody saw.
Nothing else
right
ever
there.
happened.
Nothing else ever happened. Nobody's seeing like how he was talking crazy for the past 2 days. Like, nobody's seen that. Like,
so if this is the truth, coming from the coach's perspective, it's understandable. I can understand this going down. You come upstairs, you see your little brother get grabbed up by 6 foot whatever Cam Newton. It's kind of time to go into action, because that's a lesson in with itself. You know, you stick with your family, fight for your family. You know what I'm saying? And because Cam, allegedly, if you put your hands on my man, you was wrong. You're out of pocket, bro. You supposed to be the big bro to this whole program, and this what you doing, you know what I'm saying? So it's understandable, but at the same time, I wish maybe the brother could have came up there and just maybe grabbed Cam. He grabbed him, hey, ho, 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 you know, but obviously it went further than that. You throw a punch, people get to tussling on, melee ensues, everybody's going every which way. But as far as them talking about the trash talk, they say they've been doing this with Cam for 5 years in this 7-on-7. So they know him, and they know that's how he gets down. And football is an aggressive sport like that. It's known that trash talk is a part of the game, and it's part of the fun of the game. But we do know it can get out of hand, which Plies is going to discuss that in the next video. And I got some words for Plies, a little bit of pushback for his explanation on it, even though he makes great points. But we know that trash talk is a part of the game. It's a very aggressive game, and it just goes hand in hand. But even though I can understand the coach's point of view, as RG3 is going to explain in 1 second, just overall, this just looks bad, man. And the coaches know that, and this is why they, as a team, issued this apology to the people.
But today, that man is issuing an apology saying, on behalf of Topshelf Performance, we would like to completely apologize for our actions earlier and getting beyond our character. We are deeply concerned about the recent incident involving Cam Newton, and our thoughts are with all parties affected. Violence has no place in our community, and we strongly condemn any form of aggression.
Listen, I get you got to do the apology because it's part of, you know, PR. But to say that you condemn violence and aggression, and we talking about playing football, is just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? That what football is.
At Topshelf Performance, we are committed to fostering a safe and inclusive environment for everyone associated with our organization. Our values are centered around respect and collaboration, and making sure every kid and player thrives to be better that's around us. We take any deviation from these principles seriously. We are actively addressing this matter internally and working towards a resolution that aligns with our commitment to creating a positive space for our team and clients. We appreciate your understanding and want to reassure our community that something like this will never happen again. We remain dedicated to upholding the highest standards of professionalism and integrity, and will continue to help and grow with the players in the community.
Once again, to say this ain't gonna never happen again, I think is a bad choice of words, you know, because you're playing football. So this is just something that kind of goes. But just either way, it's looking like allegedly that Cam is the aggressor and that the coaches were defending themselves, and that's cool or whatever. But it's overall, it just still looks bad because you don't see this happening with other camps. It's only us, man. You know, of course, players are fighting camps and this, that, and other, but usually you look to the coaches to nip that in the bud and get control of the situation. Here we got the coaches getting out of control, but let's hear RG3 had to say about the situation.
My first reaction was like, okay, let me watch this fight. Like, Cam Newton, 6'6", 260 pounds, got like 7 dudes trying to fight him. And, yeah, he holds his own. Not only that, first of all, Cam Newton's an absolute unit. I mean, if you've ever been around the guy, you know he's a big human being, so you got to understand that it's going to take more than one guy to try to take this guy down. But not just that. Cam got sucker punched. He got sucker punched in the side of the face and took it like a G. Ended up putting one dude in the headlock, fighting off the other guys without really throwing any punches. And, like, I'm amazed. I'm most amazed that his hat didn't even move at all. I mean, not 1 inch. So the fact that these dudes tried to jump Cam Newton obviously didn't go well. And he's wearing this hat that must be tattooed to his face or something. Tattooed to his hair. Stitched in that bad boy. I don't know. But it didn't move at all. That's my first reaction.
That hat ain't never came off. All that stand 10 toes down. Nah. That hat got bobby pins.
We talking about the same Cam Newton that took a 2010 Auburn team to the national championship game and won that bad boy after winning the Heisman Trophy, my Heisman brother. And that team only had one offensive lineman even start an NFL game. And it had 0 skill position guys that recorded a catch, a rushing attempt, or a passing attempt. You're talking about a legendary dude who has always known how to put the team on his back like that and be a one-man army. It's just what he does. So that was my first reaction. Like, kudos to Cam, you know, handled his business. But my second reaction is more so about the overall impact it has. And I absolutely hate it. You're talking about a 7-on-7 tournament where we should be talking about how great the athletes are and how great the performances were. But instead, we're now talking about Cam Newton getting jumped by dang near 7 dudes from the TSP crew, which is a team that was competing in the event. We're all lacking on the details of exactly what went down, why it happened, but the overall impact and the damage from that standpoint has already been done. I just look at this situation and I say, we as a community have to be better than this. We are so much better than this. I hate seeing this type of stuff because it feels like in our own community, I am talking about the black community, we tear each other down more than we lift each other up. When you look at a guy like Cam Newton, he's been doing remarkable things through his foundation to help give back to the youth. I can't speak fully on his behalf of what he is doing, but I know I have seen it, and I know when I've talked to quarterbacks across the country, they've worked with Cam Newton, and I know that he's trying to give back to his community there in Atlanta. So when we have these types of things break out at a 7-on-7 tournament, that's about competition and having fun. And now all we're talking about is people in our own community attacking each other in this way. It's not just a bad look. How are we supposed to rise up? How are we supposed to lift up our own communities and change the narrative if this is what we're doing all the time and going viral doing it? It's not just about going viral in this world, man. I understand the digital social media age, but sometimes it's about acting like you got some home training. Acting like you know what to do and how to operate in a public setting for the betterment of everybody. And that's what I'm not seeing from this right here. We got countless examples of this, and we got to stop it. We got to be so much better.
So obviously what we're hearing is RG3's point of view before he heard the coach's explanation of why the fight broke out. But it still rings true. Either way, even though I look at it like, yeah, I can understand the coach's point of view, and I want to hear from Cam to see why he grabbed old boy or whatever. Whoever explaining whatever, how it was explained, whatever happened, it still looks bad, and it still sets a bad example for the boys that are in this camp that you're supposedly training up to be young men that are supposed to know how to handle their problems better than this. You are doing the exact thing that these programs are supposed to take, young men away from. It's supposed to take them to a place in their minds, in their psyche, in their actions, in the way that they carry themselves, that they know how when something arises like this, they are supposed to know how to be cool, calm, collected, talk it out, whatever the case may be. Because you can't go on the job and do this. You can't have a problem with your supervisor and grab him, or, you know what I'm saying? Get into a fight, a melee, or if somebody touch your shoulder or something. You know, these are things you can't do going out into the world as men. Otherwise, you receive dire consequences from it. You lose your job, you get fired, you can't support your family. You know what I'm saying? So football is supposed to be a thing that teaches life lessons. And if the coaches aren't going to give those life lessons through the kids by that of action, then how are they going to get them? You know what I'm saying? Of course, you can still give them the game. You still can give them the game. Do as I say and not as I do. We get that. And that works still. Somewhat. You still get the game, but it still leaves that big door for players to look at and be like, well, Coach Scrapping, what's going to keep him from throwing a punch next time they get? And then what he going to tell you? What you do when it went down? You know? And that's valid stuff coming from a youngin', even though it may not sound good to a coach's ear to hear that. But hey, and that's a life lesson for coaches and parents and mentors to learn as well. Like, hey, do the best you can, but it's better to lead by example. You know, if these kids going to take it to the next level, you know, they get beat up and they pride get hurt, they're going to be ready to come back and shoot the scene up. They ain't going to want to just stop there. So we got to make sure we try to lead by example, because the kids will be watching and they need to see positive Black influence. And these guys are still positive Black influences. I ain't going to take that away from them. But they just got to remember, you know, it's a lot of eyes on you, man. A lot of people looking up to you. And they expect you to hold yourself to the same standard that you would like them to operate at. Because if you saw these boys out somewhere in some program or whatever that they went on to, fighting like this, y'all will be on their head as coaches. No matter who did what, however it played out, y'all will be on their heads as coaches and as mentors. But this your boy P Cam. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.